Recording in progress. Okay, so we started recording. All right, welcome to Elizabeth and welcome to Mary. And we're now going to be joined by James Conway, who's just coming in as well. Welcome to this, let's say, first informal sort of a look at learning how to be more active in Write On, leading to a stage where different people will host the Thursday night sessions. There are a number of elements, and it's easy for somebody to get frightened, to get confused, and to say, I'll never do that, or never do half that. James, we're just after starting. I just want to let you know, before you use any bad language or anything like that, that we're recording this session and making it available for other people to look at as well. Is that okay, James? Yeah, your audio's off, but that's okay. I take it that was okay. All right, and as other people come in, I'll give them the same warning. Okay, as I was saying, there's a myriad of stuff that we could do and talk about and the rest of it. And I know that everybody, even the people that are here, are all at different levels of ability. So what I wanted to do was, I just want this first session, I want to break it down into two very distinct points. The first point is organization. And the second point is presentation or presentation. So organization and presentation. So if you're talking about leading to a stage of presenting something, the most important part of all of that is the organization that goes on before you start presenting. There is no point in saying, here we are, I'm ready to present, and oh, wait a minute, there's something here, where, what am I doing? And that leads to panic and leads to a bad presentation, quite frankly. Whereas if you're organized, at least you know what's supposed to happen. Now, if things go wrong, you know it goes wrong. The other people probably don't know it goes wrong anyway, because they're not organizing it, you're organizing it. So I'm going to jump in very much into the middle of things, and you might say to me, oh, well, hold on a minute, how did you get to that stage? And how did you get that manuscript? And how did you get that diagram? This is not what this session is about. I want you to assume for a minute that all those problems are sorted. And they will be sorted, because this is what I want to explain to you. What I'm trying to do is not to land anybody in the center of things and say, off you go, Mary Hodson, you present next Thursday, off you go by yourself, goodbye, and the best of luck to you. That is not what's going to happen. What will happen is I will help you. I'm just taking Mary as an example. I will help Mary to organize the material. So, and I will send the material to Mary, and you will know what the material is in advance of the meeting, and then I'm simplifying it by saying all you have to do is present it then, and that comes on to the presenting side of things. So let's stop talking and let's look at what I mean by organization. If anybody has a question, I'll stop every now and again. Has anybody any question about anything I've said so far? No. Everybody all right? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is to share my screen, hopefully, so that you can see my... wait a minute now. Hold on a second. Just... There you go. You see this? By the way, that's an art that you have to learn, is to talk to yourself and to tell people, listen, I'm in a bit of trouble here. I forgot what I'm doing or whatever. I don't mean talk to yourself, but keep talking. It helps people to realize, like, okay, he's not gone off for a tea break or something. He'll be back. He's trying to sort something out. Anyway, the question I'm going to ask now is, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm just going to close this part of it down now. You can now see my screen. It's got a nice diagram. It's got loads and loads of folders. I just distinguished 3 folders over here on my left. I don't know if it's on your left or right.
Yep.
One of them is Write On, which the other is the newsletter, and the one I'm interested in at the moment is the Write On sessions. So what I was talking about was organizing. When bits, I'm just going to throw a few things around here. When bits and pieces of material come in, and bits of material come in to you, I'm just throwing a few random stuff here around my computer. You can see that, can you?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, if I had, let's say these were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. These are the things I want to present now tonight or last night. We'll say that's what I'm going to do. By the way, I'm going to show you how we set up last night's meeting. And last night is a good example because of well, it's fresh in your minds as well. Anyway, supposing I was going to go on Zoom and I'm going to try and show these things. They're all over the place. There's another one in there I found, and there might be another one here. So you can't really have a mess around the place. So the first thing I want you to learn to do is to create a folder. There are two ways to create a folder. One is you press on your mouse, and I do it on the left-hand side, and it says new folder. I click on new folder, lo and behold, there's a new folder, untitled folder. There is another way of doing the exact same thing and getting the same result. You go up here to the word file, and it says new finder window, and underneath it, it says new folder. So you click on new folder, and the new folder, it came up here on this corner, by the way, it popped over here. I'm sorry. So this is untitled folder number 2. Okay, so far?
Yeah.
I can repeat that ad nauseum, and I will repeat it. There are two ways of creating a new folder. One is to click on the left mouse, click it down. I'm clicking it down with 2 fingers. You guys, you have all different equipment, you have all different something, but if you can find the click on your mouse that gets you this thing here, new folder, get info, change, all that sort of stuff. It's there somewhere by clicking your desktop and your mouse. But anyway, new folder. So now I've got on folder number 3, 1, 2, 3. And the other way of doing it is to go up here, Finder, File, Edit, View. So I go to File and go down to the second one, which says New Folder. Click on it, and it pops over here. That one, I don't know why. Never mind. So now I have made 4 new folders in the touch of a button. Any questions so far?
No, that's good, yeah.
No.
All right. So
Okay.
there's our folder. Now, why do we need all these folders? We need all these folders, quite frankly, to store our rubbish, to store the rubbish. Look at this mess that's here with all of these stuff. Look, I'm going to catch that and drag it. Catch it and drag it. Catch it. When I say catch it, I highlight it. Sorry, I highlight it and move it around. Get used to doing that movement. You can move it around the screen and then plonk it into the folder, and it'll go into the folder. Catch it, in other words, highlight it, move it around and put it into the folder. Catch this one, move it around and land it in the folder. What's the next? Here's another one, move it around and put it in the folder. Move this one around and put it in the folder. Now that's, now look at what's in untitled folder number 4. All the rubbish that we had on the screen is now available here. You can see it as an icon. No, never mind. You can see it as a gallery. So you can, sorry, you can see the little icons that there were, or you can see it. This is only a by the way. You can see it as a list. I like to work with lists. So there's a list of the 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 old files that were scattered. Now I know where they are. They're in untitled folder 4. Now that's not a good name because we've untitled folder 2, untitled folder, and so on. So all I want to do here is to change the name. So I'm going to highlight the words untitled folder by clicking on it and change it to Frank's demonstration gathering. You can call it anything. Frank's demonstration gathering files. And I think it's a good idea that you should get into the habit, always, not always, but I think it's a great idea to put a date on things. Because you never know when you're going to come back to this folder, and it's always good to know when you created it. Was it in 2021 or 2024? I generally, you know. Okay, now that was just a demonstration of what these folders are for and how they can be. By the way, if you want to get rid of a folder, You simply highlight it and move it to the bin. Highlight it, move it to the bin. Highlight it, move it to the bin. So we're just left with that one now after the 4. Now I want to go over here to where I have write-on sessions. You know now this is the folder. You see the way I moved it? So this is a folder just like that is a folder. The way to think of folders, the way I was taught to think about them, is think of them like old filing cabinets. This is the big old filing cabinet in my office. And inside of this filing cabinet, there are 3 other drawers. And what I have in these 3 drawers are write-on sessions 2021-22, 22-23, and 23-24. So I know if somebody asked me what happened on January the 16th, Thursday, whatever it was, in 2021, I know where to look. Now I'm going to go to 23-24, which is the season we're in. I started out by creating a separate folder for Culture Night. Then I call that 00, ground zero's Culture Night in my mind anyway. So our first meeting was the AGM. Sorry, I think I was going to renumber them. Session, or maybe we didn't have a session. I think we didn't have a session. Anyway, never mind. Session 3 was on the 14th of September, session 4 on the 21st of September, session 5 on the 28th, session 6 on the 25th, and session 7 was last night. No, it wasn't. What am I saying? Session 7 was write-on sessions. I have the wrong day. Oh, it was, yeah, sorry, 12th of October. I get myself mixed up, sorry. So let's see what's in this folder. Let me just go back to remind you again where we are. I have set up a folder which I call write-on sessions. I now open that folder and I have 3 other folders inside it. Okay, one of those folders, I'm going to open it again, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 folders inside it. And in 1 second more, I'm going to have 8 inside it. Can anybody tell me how can I put 8, the 8th folder in? Anybody there could tell me how could I add another folder to this list here?
Click on it and say new.
Click on what?
New. Hit on the line.
No, click on the desktop, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right. You're right. I beg your pardon. Yes, yeah, you can do it that way. Yeah, click on it and say
new folder or new.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
what do you think we might call it?
08 session the 19th.
That's it.
I'm a bit confused. Sorry.
All right, just wait, just a minute. 19th of October. Right, Mary, tell us your confusion.
No, you just to go back to the beginning, yeah, because I've written it down here. You create and you have all the items on your desktop that people might submit, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Sure. And you put all those pieces into the folder, right?
Yes. Yes.
I understand that bit.
Yeah.
But then in the folder, there's several subfolders, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's confusing you, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I can see where you might be confused. Okay, let me just the first thing, by the way, was just a demonstration. Just a second now. This is where you can see the screen. Okay. Sorry, what did I do there? Back. You can see the screen. You can.
Yeah.
Let me go back to where we created these folders, and I took a whole load of items and I shoved it in here.
Yes, right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
You're okay. Well, I want to go back to it, Mary, because that's where you're okay. You're okay with that part. But what I did just go back to Frank's demonstration of these. You say you're okay with that. What I did once, what I would do is I would organize these into their separate folders. In other words, I would create a new folder inside here, and I might call this one Trailer for Culture Night 2023. Now, I've created a folder called Trailer for Culture Night. Why did I do that? Because here's a yoke and a thing called Trailer for Culture Night, and it's 0440. Now, listen, this isn't going to make much sense. What I'm doing is tidying up these things. I'm tidying them up into folders.
So you tidy it up within.
Say again, Mary, I didn't catch it.
You tidy it up within the main folder, as it were.
Yes.
You know, once you create the main folder. So say you had session, say last night's session, right?
Yeah.
So that's a new folder. It's all in there, right? That's brilliant. And then the next.
Mary, your audio's coming in and out, Mary. So forgive me if I ask you to repeat what you said. Sorry.
So the step one, you've created a new folder and you've added all the items for last night, we'll say, into the new folder, right?
Yeah.
Next night, do you create another new folder or you add another folder to the main folder? Do you know what I mean?
It's actually, Mary, the same thing.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I'm going to do to answer your question?
Mm.
Just let me clear a space here and wait till I show you what I'm going to do. That's last night's session. Wait, you see now. Just watch this now. Do you see what I've done now, Mary? I've gone. Now I'm back to, let's call it my demonstration. I have this old folder here. I have this yoke here. I have this thing here. I have this thing here. I have another yoke over here, and there's something else over here. So this is where we were. You told me you understood this part.
That's right. Yeah.
This is where I have a whole mess of stuff. Now, I happen to know that this is the stuff that Anne Murray sent me for last night's session. Yeah. So I'm going to do it slowly. I'm going to press new folder. I can do it here. Untitled folder. And I now know that this is the one for session, was it 7? Can't remember. 07, the 12th of October. 12th of October, 2023. So now I've made a folder for all this stuff, right? So now I catch this, do a twirly jig around and shove it in. Now I catch this, do a twirly jig around and shove it in. Right? So that's what I did. I'm shoving them all back in now. Oh, that one missed the. No, so you have to get it right kind of in the middle before this. There it goes. Right. Now, what I do with this particular folder is I put it in here with my write-on sessions. I'm tidying the whole time. So here's my write-on sessions, and here's my folder, session 7. I have it back to front. There's the old.
Oh, so you have a main folder.
What I did now.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So in a way, Mary, you can do it. I'm doing it backwards and forwards and backwards to show you that the end result is the same.
Oh, I understand now. That's fine.
You get it now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just. I'm going to put this one to the bin because it's empty. Move to the bin. I just typed this. Sorry, I named it ever so slightly different from the others because I was 07 session 12th of October. Just tidying it up, and there it's gone back into its spot. Now,
so for clarity for myself,
so
basically, what you do is you have a main filing cabinet, let's say, or folder called write-on session.
Yes. Yes.
And all the stuff comes in, and you create a new folder, i.e., session 8. They all go into that.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you put them all back into the write-on session main folder.
Exactly.
Oh, happy days! I have it now. Yeah.
Happy days. Now, just to continue the theme, we did create when we were looking there another folder called, Elizabeth helped me to name it, 08 session 19th of October. Naturally, there's nothing in it.
No.
But when we start getting stuff, it's for next week. It's in there. Now, listen, I can take it out here and I can put it on the desktop for the moment. I can close that away. I can keep this session thing out here, and as bits and pieces come in, I can start filling it in and eventually put it back into the main folder.
So basically, on your desktop, you have your main folder, i.e. write on sessions.
Yeah.
And then you have another space then when all the stuff comes in. And then you create a new folder, put all the new stuff into it. And when it's all populated or content in the new folder, you then put the new folder into write on sessions.
That's correct.
Happy days.
That's what's called organization.
Yeah. Okay, Frank.
Yes, Elizabeth. Yes.
Am I right in saying that if I was co-hosting with you, that it would be your worktop we'd be working off, and I just had to know that in that folder, or would I be working off my worktop?
I answered you with my head. It would not be my one, it would be your one.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, we'll come to that. We'll come to that question. That's the presentation part.
Yeah.
We're just at the organization part.
Okay.
For now,
yeah.
we're nearly done. James, do you have a question? Yes.
No.
Sorry, hold it, James. Hold it.
But would that organization have to be done? Would I have to do the same organization on my laptop in preparation for a presentation?
My answer to that, Elizabeth, is you don't have to do it. But for me, it's the thing, it works brilliantly. And
no, I'm not saying, I agree it's a brilliant system.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that are we working off more than one? Like if I was nominated the person presenting in a month's time.
Yeah.
Does Anne send the things to me to do that organization in?
And Elizabeth, you have unwittingly you're gone into the presentation side of things. I know you.
Okay, I'll step back.
I'll come to it, Elizabeth. I know exactly what you're saying, but let's keep that for the moment.
Yeah, we'll keep it for a while.
James,
okay.
James, what's your question?
Now, under the heading of organization,
yes,
you showed us there that you had satellite boxes and you hoovered them up and you put them into the session box. I saw you highlighted them and hoovered them and dragged them over.
I did all that, yes.
Yeah. Now, when you open the write-on session there, you have previous dates there.
Yes.
And then you have this new one to cope with, say, yesterday's session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that's a new folder, but you seem to be aiming that arrow at that red spot, and that's what's confusing me.
Say that again. I missed what you said.
The red spot of the three colors, the red spot on the left, you seem to be going over there a few times. And why are you going over there?
Oh, James, that is it's got nothing to do with folders or anything else. The red spot is where you close down something on a Mac. I'm using an Apple Mac. It might be slightly different than your machine.
Right.
It's got an X on it. When I hit that, it just closes whatever I was in.
Okay. Well, now what you opened, you got a new folder within the folder, and you had everything from yesterday in the new folder.
Here, yes.
So what you have now under the session, you have that's 07 session, that's yesterday's, and that's all the stuff was there yesterday.
Yes, correct.
And that's in a new folder, and you're just focusing on that folder now.
For now, yes.
Yeah. And that's we've stopped at that juncture, have we?
That's the juncture we've stopped at.
Yeah. Okay, that's grand. Thanks.
Okay. And in fact, it's a good place to stop because what I've shown you a lot of stuff and I've shown it to you very quickly, and I don't expect you to pick it all up and I don't expect you to remember everything. But what I've shown you is that what I started out by saying, if you're well organized, your presentation will be better. So I knew last night that of where all my stuff was. I knew that it was all in this one folder. So what I named the first thing was 0701, which means session 701. Session 701A was the audio clip that went with Joanne's thing. 0702, I called it. In fact, me being a particular person, I should have put a space there. It doesn't matter. I'm just showing you my methods. 0703 was the third item. 0704 was the fourth item. And 0705 was the fifth item. Now, again, just for the sake of to explain that again, let's talk about next week's session, which is 08. There's nothing in it, but supposing I just, for the argument's sake, put in, I'm going to make it easy and say first item for next week. Let's say that we have a file or whatever it might be, a poem or whatever, and it's called. Now, can anybody tell me what number that's going to be? Can anybody tell me what number that's going to be?
Is it 1?
Going to be 801.
Yes. 0801. Or sorry, yeah, 0801. Yeah. 801. And the next item.
0802.
Correct. Yeah. Second. I'm just doing this second item for next week, and eventually we're going to name it 802. I put an O in front of it. There's a reason for that, but never mind. 08 point. Sorry, I've done it wrong because I wasn't concentrating. It should be number 2.
2.
2. Again, it's good practice. Now, in the actual, we're moving from organization to presentation in a second, but just this one word about presentation. In the actual presentation, things happen. Somebody arrives late or somebody isn't here. Let's say I have a poem by James Conway and he hasn't appeared yet. I might move his poem mentally down a bit and shove in item 3 instead of item 2. You have the power to do whatever you like, but once you have it, let's go back to last night. Once you have it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 5 items there. Once you have the 5 items, you know what you have. And I could start with Joanne's piece, and I could go down here to The Hunter by Seamus Keogh, and I could go back up to Kathleen, but at least I know what I have. So that is the organization of it, okay? Yeah. I know now that Elizabeth has a very serious guy. Sorry, I'm now going to address your question, Elizabeth. Josephine, you're very welcome. And just to give you a word of warning, in case you intend to use any bad language, this particular session is being recorded so that it can be shown to other people. So if you need to curse and swear, go outside and do it elsewhere. Don't do it here. Okay, good. Yeah. Thanks, Josephine. Josephine, we started, and what you've missed will be available, so you can look back on what you've missed. But basically, what we talked about for starters was two points. One was organization, and the second point was presentation. Now, you've missed the organization part, which, if I may say so, was brilliant. It was really good, and whoever was explained it very well. And I think the 3 people understand every bit of it. So, and they'll have it all forgotten by 6 o'clock tonight. But that's the other story. Anyway, we're now moving on to the presentation. And to stop cutting and joking, let's get down to business. Elizabeth, you were asking a question which I'm sure is uppermost in everybody's mind. How the hell am I going to do this and all the rest of it? I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you. You were asking, do we work off my machine or do we work off your machine? The way that I can see us transitioning into giving members the ability to be able to host, a different person could host a meeting every week, is that we will slowly build up the skill set. And I already said, I'm not going to ask Elizabeth or James or Josephine, you're doing the presentation next week, off you go. That's not how I operate, and that's not how we're going to operate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything that I showed you guys there in the organization part. I am going to do that for you. And what I'm going to do is to send you that folder. So let's say somebody, and I'm waiting for a volunteer, somebody is going to do next week's hosting. What you will get is that folder. Let me share the screen again. Again, Josephine, I know this might be difficult to catch up with, but you'll understand when you see the early part. What you will get from me is you don't even have to go through all this rigmarole. What you'll get from me is this folder here called Session 8, the 19th of October. And within that folder, all the items for presentation will be here. Elizabeth, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you were wondering about. But
Yeah.
the thing is, Elizabeth, that it'll be on your machine, and it'll be from your machine that it will be worked.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is what we're coming on to now. And so before, I'm just a little bit I'm a little bit thrown by the fact that Josephine just came in at that particular point, and I know that she may get a bit lost. Josephine, I just bear with us; it'll all make sense. So let me gather my thoughts now. Is everybody clear about that? That you will get the folder relevant to the meeting that you're presenting.
Yeah.
You will not have to worry, are there 6 items? Are there 5 items? Are there 23 items? You will not have to worry for now anyway about putting in diagrams or nice pictures or music or anything else. No worries. The only thing you have to worry, I wouldn't worry about it, but the only thing you have to concern yourself with now is presentation.
Right.
So I am going to take yesterday's yesterday's meeting as an example, and let me just get right to it now. Let me see. Share screen. All right. So before yesterday's meeting started, myself and Anne Murray, sorry, myself and Anne Murray had worked on all of these. It's actually there's 2 parts to number 1. We'll come to that in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 items for yesterday, right? If you were presenting, let me just get this out of the way. If you were presenting this last night, I'm just going to do a kind of a mock thing. What your function would be to let in people into Zoom. We'll come back to all the technicalities about setting up a Zoom meeting and all that sort of thing. We would start up the Zoom. You would be the host. We would say, right, let's go. We're getting ready to go. And our first item is Chapter 3 by Joanne Dowling. And Joanne is going to read the piece again. Actually, lads, that one is just a little bit, it's got a little bit of a complication to it, so we're not going to start there. Let's say you decided we're going to start with The Life and Times of Jimmy Mullins by Mary Rose Tobin. Okay, so what you do is you double click on the file and it opens up. Said he. There it is. Now, again, don't worry about how beautiful it looks and how did it get to that shape. We'll come back to that. That's what I mean. That isn't for today's session. The fact of the matter is you're after opening up this file on your own desktop. Is everybody following me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And you can see, I'm just going to flick down through it. You can see that there's so many 13 pages in it. Now, your job as presenter, I'll come back to the technicalities in a second, but your job as a presenter is to say, now the thing we're going to look at now is The Life and Times of Jimmy Mullins by Mary Rose Tobin, which happened to win the prize, blah, 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 blah. Mary Rose, would you like to set it up, or would you just like to read it? And Mary Rose says, I'd just like to read it. So your big job from now on is to follow the reading until it comes down to about here. The boys did their utmost. And then with your mouse, you move up the screen so that we can all follow the story, overturn desks and toss books. And then we come down to a letter from St. Paul to the coal miners. And you keep it going nice and steady. The room was silent. And then we come down here. When he first arrived, having been convicted of a minor offense, I talked to him about it. I asked, Jimmy, why are you here? And we continue on, we continue on, we continue on. Mary Rose is reading. You have nothing to do except move the text along as she is reading. Is there any question about that?
No, that's fine.
Oh,
That's okay.
Wasn't that simple? Do you see how easy it is? Well, that's how easy it is. Mary Rose does the reading. You do the scrolling. Simple. Now, I'll come. Obviously there's a little bit of technology to be looked at, but I just want to give you the broad outline first. So now we've done Mary Rose's one. Where my session? Here we are. Now we've done Mary Rose's one. So let's say we want to do The Bird by James Conway next. So sorry, once Mary Rose has finished reading her story, you then stop sharing the screen, and I'll come back to that again in a minute. You have the discussion. You keep an eye on people who's putting their hand up to say something, or the way I do it is when somebody unmutes themselves, it means that they're preparing to speak. So you'll be able to see, you'll see this yourself, you'll be able to see who's on mute and who isn't. And if there's people unmuted, you can pick on them. You can say, Mary Hudson, you might have something to say about it. Elizabeth, you might have a comment. And you go around and so on. Now, when all of that is finished, say, thanks very much, Mary Rose. You might want to comment on the comments. And that's the end of that segment. Now, let's say the next one is The Bird by James Conway. And what do we do is double click on it and click play.
The Bird.
Can you see it?
James Conway.
Can you see that?
The men shone in a dot of distance.
No, you can't. Sorry. When I open a file within a file, when I'm trying to share it to you guys, you won't be able to see it. Sorry. That's just, never mind. That's not going to happen. So now can you see it? The Bird by James Conway. And all you do is press play here. That's
His
the play
daily
button.
walk a panacea for loneliness, with the sand sticking to the soles of his shoes,
And
his gait leaning towards the sea.
once again,
Then
you have absolutely nothing to do except listen to the poem because it's all automatically done. But what we do with poems, as you probably know, is we play them twice. So you'll get used to this anyway. You catch this, I catch this thing here and wind it back to the start, and away we go again.
The Bird, James Conway.
When it gets to the end, we play poems twice, right? I think you can also do it this way. Can you? I've not. You can keep clicking that. What I do is I catch that line and bring it back to 0 and press play again.
The
Look,
Bird,
it's a small point.
James Conway.
It's something that it's a small
The man
point.
shone in a dot of distance, his daily walk a panacea.
Okay. So that was the kind of broad outline. So what I've demonstrated there is how to present a poem and how to present a short story. Everybody happy so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, there are bits and pieces that will fill in the gaps. So just to recap for a second and to take a small breather from giving you too much information. And again, Josephine, you'd have missed this part. But first of all, the thing is to organize your files into one folder so you know where to find them. Once you have them numbered and ready, you know you have 5 pieces to do, or 10 pieces, or 3 pieces, or 4 pieces, but you know exactly what you're going to present. Once you have that on your screen, and you will have it on your screen from me or from Anne McManus, you will know exactly what you're presenting. You then select which one you want to go first. You see the way I had Joanne Dowling's there as number 1, but I changed my mind and I said, listen, I'll put Mary Rose as number 1. You have the power to do that. You can play number 3 or number 4 or whatever. Or indeed, sometimes what happens if you've an awful lot of files. I've done it many a time that if Seamus Keogh isn't around, I would postpone it until next week and shove it into next week's folder and wouldn't play it at all. Or if James Conway didn't appear at a meeting, I might put his poem back for another week when he might appear. So you have the power to do that. There's no there's no hard and fast rules here. It's not a classroom. We're not teaching you how to do things rigidly. The whole thing here is to be creative with what you're being told. Okay, now we're coming to the hard part. When I say hard, I do inverted commas. But before I move on, I just want to make absolutely clear, is everybody clear about what's happened so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
okay so far.
Josephine, are you able to follow? You're okay? Yeah, I don't mean able to follow, but because of this in the first bit, I'm just concerned that you might say, what the hell are they talking about? Okay, now, what am I talking about? Oh, yes. We're now going to talk about the technicalities of Zoom. Zoom is the medium through which we are doing our presentation, right? You are used to opening up Zoom. You are used to being sitting out in a waiting room and waiting to be admitted. And then you're admitted, and then you suddenly appear on the screen, and there's 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 other people there. That's your experience of Zoom. What I will do, and this will answer a few questions I know Elizabeth has, at the beginning, sorry, at this transitional period. And first of all, let me remind you what we're trying to achieve here. What we're trying to achieve here is that other members of Right On will be able to host the Thursday night meetings. So it won't always be Mary Hudson. It won't always be Josephine. It won't always be Elizabeth. It can go in a rotation. Mary can do 2 weeks in a row. Elizabeth can do 1 week. Somebody might be sick. They can step in for each other. As long as you have the skills to do it, that's what we're trying to aim for. So whoever is doing it for the moment, I'm going to pick on Mary Hudson. I'm going to pick on you for the demonstration. Right. What happens is I am going to go to Mary Hudson, and I am going to make Mary Hudson top of the class. No, not top of the class. I'm going to make you a co-host. And Mary, you watch your screen when this happens. Make co-host. When Mary is made co-host, she finds she has an extra button. I always knew Mary had an extra button. Mary, you have found it should have an extra button down towards the center of your screen. If you move your mouse or whatever it is down at the bottom of your Zoom. Yeah. And what's the new button, Mary? What's it called? That one in green?
Oh, share screen.
Share screen. Share screen. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to do the same for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you are now going to see a change on your screen, hopefully, at the bottom, and you're going to find a new button. What is it?
Share screen, but I already had it. I had it when you had
okay.
Mary.
But
it changed shape or something.
Oh, it changed to
go
green.
Back. Yeah,
that's okay. Josephine, I am going to make a change to your screen, and I'm going to give you a new button in the middle called. Do you see it in green?
Josephine? I had it already.
Okay, is it okay? What are the?
One participant can share at a time. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. But okay. I seem to have got a menu. Maybe I didn't have the menu before with it.
Okay. Well, anyway, what I have done is empowered you to be a co-host or a host.
Okay.
And James, I'm going to do the same for you. James, sorry, just make co-host. Right. So everybody here, James, everybody here now has the ability to share your screen.
Sorry, Frank.
Yes, James.
I don't see any green button here. Where is it supposed to be?
Okay, James, if you move your mouse around the place for a minute over the pictures and then go down.
Share screen. I see it. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, bring it down.
Now, don't do anything with it yet. You have that is the power button. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to share my screen now just for a second. I'll try and get to this stage. Right, once again, you can see my screen and you can see the end of it. Let me see. I just want to see what you actually see. Do you see the end of Mary Rose's story?
Yes.
Now I'm going to cut that down. Do you see this thing here that says session 07
yeah.
session?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
Good. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, what I'm going to do to show you how to share screen. Before you press that green share screen button at all, the first thing you have to do is, I'm just going to take The Hunter by James Keogh because it's short. The first thing you have to do is open up something on your own screen. So I'm going to open up The Hunter by Seamus Keogh. Now, I don't know whether you can see that or not on your screens.
Yeah,
can you? You can see a black space.
Yeah, black screen.
Okay, so that has opened up. Now, I'm going to stop sharing now for a second. So what I've done is I've opened up the next piece that I want to present, and I've opened it up on my desktop.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I go to the share screen button, maybe I'm going to ask somebody to do it. Mary, I'm going to ask you to go to share screen. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Stop. Sorry, bad idea. Let me do it here first. I'm going to press share screen on my button. When I see what I see, I can see that I have the hunter lined up, and I now press share. And guess what? Ye all can see the hunter.
Right.
No.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can,
Yes.
yes.
Hunter,
It's
Yeah.
unexpected.
winter morning stillness in the air.
Yeah.
The hunter quickly covers ground.
Okay. Now let's go back over that before I ask anybody else to do anything. Stop share. By the way, I don't know whether you can see that line. It says stop share. That's how you get out of sharing.
How
So-
do you, is there somewhere that says stop sharing?
Yes, there is. It's a red button up on my screen up in the top. There is. You won't get it, Mary, until you actually do the sharing business. You won't get the
Oh,
stop
right,
sharing
okay,
business.
yeah, thank you.
Let me recap on that, because this is the important part, really. The thing to remember is open the document on your own screen first. If you haven't the document opened on your own screen first, you cannot share it. It's like as if you have a bag of sweets, a bag of toffees, and you have them sealed and you haven't opened them yet. And you say to James Conway, would you like a sweet? And he goes to try and get a sweet. He can't get it because you haven't opened them. So you have to open the bag of sweets first before you share it. So I opened that bag of sweets, and then I went to my share button, and then I selected the thing that I wanted to share, and I pressed share, and there it is.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, and my stop share comes up on top, you'll see it. Now, you guys don't yet have those files to share. I should have asked, by the way, how are you all fixed for time? Have you still plenty of time, or have you
Yep.
stopped?
I'm okay.
And how are you fixed for energy?
Frank,
James,
But Frank,
when are you finishing, Frank?
I was going to finish at in 10 minutes time.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
yeah, Frank, never mind us. You have to put a limit on the time you give.
Okay.
And then you go walking.
I'm finishing in 10 minutes. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay. So if this works, I can do it very quick. Well, this now is going to get us all into a spot of bother. What I was planning to do was to send you a file by no. That'll only worry you. No. What I'm going to take the 10 minutes or the 9 minutes left to recap.
Yeah.
The first thing we did was to organize our material. I'll go back over that again. Share screen. No, that's a lesson for myself. I went there to share screen, but I didn't have the thing I wanted to share open. So there's nothing to share. You might be going, oh, hang on, how do you share screen? And there's nothing open. What I wanted to do was to open up this session here. Now, share screen. Now I can share this because it's open. Now, the first thing we did was we had a look at, we got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. There's an audio there for one, that's why there's 6 items. But we had these 5 items. We put them all into one folder. We put the date on it, and it's a session 7. If I have more time, or if we come on to the next session, what I will do is I will send you these files, so that each one of you will have these files on your desktop, and then you can go and practice sharing the screen. You got that?
Yeah.
You cannot do it now. I was going to ask Mary Hodgson, will you open up chapter 3? And I was being silly because you don't have chapter 3 on your desktop. You can only...
I'm assuming when they come in by email,
yeah.
Obviously you download them and then save them onto your desktop.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's what happens. And what you do is that's all there's to it, really. You will get session 8. Whoever's doing the hosting will get session 8 with all the bits and pieces for the meeting. you can have a look at them beforehand to see what they're about or what's in it. They'll either be poems, but by the way, next week there's going to be an unusual one, which is a song by Gris. I presume most of you have either gathered or know that Gris does not have the sight of her eyes.
Mm.
You know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's why you don't see her on screen, and that's why she talks very much about the oral aspect. But she has promised to sing a new song for us next week, and she doesn't want the lyrics on screen. So whoever's hosting next week, all you say is, and now we're going over to Grit in Westport or wherever she is, and Grit, you're going to sing a song for us, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to share a screen or do anything. You just listen to the song and watch the people's emotions or whatever, watch their faces, and then talk to her about the song afterwards. That's all one has to do there. But supposing there's a piece of text by Joanne Dowling, I'm just here again. So, what do we do? We double click on it. We get it nicely presented like that. Then we go to our share screen button, said he. Oh, wait a minute now. I've got myself into a little bit of a loop there. Sorry. Now, then we go to our share screen button and we press on the yoke, and now it's shared. It's that.
Frank, you know, when I pressed on the share green button there, it gives me options. Share with one participant, multiple participants, or whatever. So obviously you click it to multiple participants. I guess.
To tell you the truth, Mary, I've never seen that option on my own, but maybe have I ever looked at it? Wait a minute. I don't get those options, but obviously share to multiple participants. I think what might be happening here, Mary, is that everybody on here is a host or a co-host, and that might be distorting things a little bit. Basically, all I have is share, and I share, and everybody sees it. Mm. If that button comes up, either ignore it or accept the logical one. Accept the logical.
We won't complicate it.
No, don't complicate it until you try it. Yes, James.
Yeah. Somebody said there about the piece would come in by email and you transfer it to your desktop. Yes. Now, how do you do that?
Right.
How do you transfer it to the desktop?
I can tell you that if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Mary, go on.
You just you open your email and there'll probably be an attachment, James.
Yes.
And then you click on the attachment and it'll give you the option to download.
Yes.
So there's a kind of a scroll that comes download on my side, on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yes.
And then you can left click on download and it'll ask you it'll say save as, and then you put save as on your desktop. That's it.
And save as, and will it give you the option of desktop?
Absolutely. It'll give you documents, desktop. What else will they give you? OneDrive. Well, I put them into desktop a lot of the time. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Is that okay, Frank? That makes sense, does it?
Certainly does. I was trying to help as well. James, will you have a look at the screen?
Yeah.
Watch this if this works. Can you see that? That's my Gmail with various emails from people.
Yes.
And there's Joanne's email, and I know that there's 2 attachments.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm going to open the email. Now, can you still see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, and the attachment is up here. You see that 2 attachments, it says?
Yes.
So I click on, and now in my screen, it's different on every computer, but in mine, I press this button here that says download.
Yes.
When I click that download, it pops up here into this thing, but it also goes onto my desktop.
It pops up to what thing when you say this?
Sorry. It pops up to this box up here.
Oh, on the left of the 4.
But on your left. Look, it might be different on Mary Hobson's machine. It's probably different on Elizabeth's, but the principle is the same. You open the email, you find the attachment, you click on the attachment and you save it.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're able to find it on your own desktop.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, lads and lassies. Have you any other questions about what we talked about organizing, and we started to talk about presenting. You couldn't practice the presenting side of it because you haven't got the material, but you will get that for before the next session. And what we could do before, sometime before, in the next couple of days, I can prep you, if that's the right word, and send you last week's 5 or 6 files and see what complications you come up with, which you probably will. How do I do this and how do I do that? Fine, but at least we'll all have the same material to work with. And you can practice then opening the thing on your desktop and sharing it with everybody.
That'd be great.
And that is, honestly, that is all there's to it. After that, it's your own business what you say in the gaps. The whole, look at it, took me, and it takes everybody a long time. I'm not trying to simplify it, but yeah, I mean, everybody knows that you're new to the job, and if it, oh, hold on a minute, I've lost the file, I don't know where my mouse has gone, oh, the screen is gone, oh Jesus, what am I going to do?
In my case, Frank, it'll be, oh God, bloody hell.
What I'm getting at, you're not in a group that's going to point the finger and say, look, she didn't get it right or she got it wrong. That's not what we're here for. We're all here to help. And if you have to wait 5 minutes for you to switch it off and switch it back on, what about it? We can talk to each other. Everybody remembers here in my neighborhood, the first night that I did this thing, I did it sight unseen. I hadn't a clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to use Zoom. And it was the first culture night thing. And I had my neighbor, you might remember, Elizabeth, I had my neighbor, Adrienne, who's a Hungarian lady. She came to help me, and we had lists of stuff. And I was like, what do I press? What do I press? Oh, Jesus, how does it? And my daughter told me afterwards that everybody could see me. Now, they couldn't hear me, but they could say, I was going, Jesus, oh, Lord, where's the next one?
Oh, Frank, can I just ask you one question, if you don't mind? If as a host to the meeting, do you have to set up your own Zoom call meeting link?
For now, I do, yes. The thing about our Zoom is it's in my name. It's in the right-on name. So it comes into me. But eventually, all of that will be sorted out. What we're at is a transitional period. So for now, I will start the Zoom meeting. I will make somebody, whoever wants to be a co-host, and work away. But the beauty about it is, if you want to call it beauty, I'll be in the background anyway.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So if something goes absolutely belly up, well, we'll figure it out.
Oh, that's great.
So we're not. Great. It's not throwing somebody into the lion's den without any parachute or whatever. Mixing my metaphors, but
that's brilliant.
Yeah. So, and people will get used to it after a while. There is a model for this. There's a number of models, but people who are in groups, it shouldn't depend on one person to do every single meeting. It should be shared, irrespective of one's health issues or anything else. It should be shared. I mean, it was brought home to me very much when I was in France that the meeting probably wouldn't have gone ahead for 2 weeks just because I went on holidays, and that's not right. For the group, it's not right. So somebody should be able to step in the event of illness or in the event of other people being incapacitated. And the more people that are skilled at it, or the more people who are able to do it, you don't have to be skilled. It's not about being slick. It's simply about sharing. If you remember where we started, Elizabeth remembers where we started. We started in West Side with scraps of paper. So what we're talking about here is a scrap of paper, showing it on the screen to everybody so they can comment on it. That's it in simple terms. We just want to show a piece of writing so that people can talk about it.
That's very good.
The rest is all click buttons and whatever. Listen, on that note, I shall leave you. There's a recording of this for other people who might want it. So you can go back to your normal language now, and we'll. I always say that.